The deep space exploration vessel ESS Prometheus drifted silently through the void, its quantum sensors probing the darkness between stars. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the bridge's observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display, showing an anomalous energy signature that shouldn't exist. The signal originated from a region of space that had been declared dead for millennia, the Necropolis sector. Signal analysis complete, Captain. Lieutenant Marcus Wong announced, his fingers dancing across the neural interface. It's impossible. The energy signature matches the quantum frequency of the Lazarus species. A hushed silence fell over the bridge. Every spacefarer knew about the Lazarus, an ancient civilization that had achieved technological sophistication beyond anything humanity had ever seen. They had vanished without a trace 50,000 years ago, leaving behind only ruins and mysteries. Their disappearance had sparked countless theories, from mass ascension to cosmic catastrophe. "Show me," Sarah ordered, her voice steady despite the gravity of the discovery. The holographic display expanded, filling the bridge with a cascade of data. The signal pulsed with a desperate rhythm, a clear distress call that had been repeating for what could have been centuries. First Officer David Okafor stepped forward, his face illuminated by the holographic glow. "Captain, protocol dictates we should notify the Galactic Council first. The Lazarus ruins are considered restricted heritage sites." Sarah's lips curved into a slight smile. "And how long will the Council debate while someone out there needs help?" Humanity didn't become the galaxy's premier rescue force by waiting for bureaucratic approval. She opened a channel to Earth Fleet Command, knowing they would understand. The response came within minutes, not from some desk-bound admiral, but from Fleet Admiral Helena Santos herself. "Captain Chen, this is a Priority 1 rescue mission. I'm dispatching the entire 3rd Rescue Fleet to your coordinates. The ESS Hyperion, ESS Atlas, and ESS Helios are already spinning up their quantum drives." Sarah felt a surge of pride. These weren't warships. They were humanity's ultimate expression of their need to help, to save, to protect. Each vessel carried enough medical and scientific expertise to restore a dead world to life. The Galactic Council's response arrived moments later, transmitted by their local representative, a crystalline being named Vathor. "Human vessels, you are ordered to maintain position. The Lazarus sectors are strictly quarantined. Any unauthorized entry will be considered a violation of galactic law." Sarah watched as her tactical display lit up with approaching Council vessels, sleek, powerful ships designed for enforcement rather than rescue. They were beautiful, efficient, and utterly unsuited for what might lie ahead. "Vathor," she responded, "with all due respect, Earth has signed the Universal Distress Protocol. Any call for help, regardless of origin or age, must be answered. We're going in." The Prometheus's quantum drive hummed to life as Sarah input the coordinates herself. The rest of the rescue fleet would arrive within hours, but someone might be dying right now. Humanity had learned long ago that every second counted when lives were at stake. "All hands, this is the captain speaking," Sarah announced shipwide. "We're about to attempt something that's never been done before, a rescue mission into the Necropolis sector. We don't know what we'll find, but someone out there has been waiting for help for a very long time. Let's show them that humanity answers every call." The Prometheus accelerated, its advanced hull already adapting to the strange gravitational anomalies that had kept other species away from this sector for millennia. Behind them, the Council ships maintained their position, unwilling or unable to follow. As they approached the signal source, the ship's sensors detected something massive, a structure that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. It was a sphere the size of Earth's moon, its surface covered in patterns that seemed to shift and change as they watched. "Life signs detected," Marcus reported, his voice barely a whisper. "Thousands of them. No, millions. They're in some kind of stasis." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. This wasn't just a rescue mission anymore. It was first contact with a species that had shaped the galaxy's history. and they had chosen humanity to answer their call. "Begin approach procedures," she ordered. "And someone wake up our xenolinguists. Something tells me we're going to need them." The Prometheus moved closer to the massive sphere, its lights illuminating patterns that had been dark for 50,000 years. Humanity's greatest rescue mission was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same. The sphere's surface rippled like liquid metal as the Prometheus approached. Dr. Maya Patel, the ship's lead xenorchaeologist, watched in fascination as ancient systems responded to their presence. Patterns of light danced across the structure's surface, forming complex geometries that seemed to defy physics. "Captain, we're receiving a new transmission," Lieutenant Wong reported. "It's different from the distress signal, more complex." The bridge's speakers came alive with a sound that made Maya's blood run cold. It wasn't just a message, it was a warning, encoded in mathematical sequences that transcended language barriers. Her neural interface translated the patterns into meaning, and she felt her heart rate spike. "Captain Chen, we need to pull back," Maya said, her voice urgent. "These patterns, they're not just communication. They're quarantine protocols." Sarah Chen turned to face her, expression grave. "Explain." "The Lazarus didn't vanish, Captain. They sealed themselves away." Maya's fingers flew across her holographic interface, highlighting specific patterns in the transmission. According to this, they encountered something out there in deep space, something that changed them. The survivors created this structure as both a refuge and a prison. The ES at Hyperion emerged from quantum space nearby, followed closely by the Atlas and Helios. The full might of humanity's rescue fleet had arrived, their massive forms casting long shadows across the sphere's shimmering surface. Admiral Santos' hologram materialized on the bridge. "Captain Chen, your initial report mentioned millions of life signs. What's their status?" "Stable but deteriorating," Marcus answered, consulting his readings. "The stasis systems are failing. At current rates, we have less than 72 hours before they begin to fail completely." Sarah's jaw tightened. "Maya, what exactly were they containing here?" "Themselves," Maya whispered. "The Lazarus encountered a form of cosmic horror, something that infected their entire civilization with a kind of psychic virus. It twisted their perception of reality, turned them against each other. The survivors created this sphere as a last resort, hoping that someone would find them after they found a cure." The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Millions of lives hung in the balance, but saving them might risk releasing something worse than death into the galaxy. "The Council was right," David Okafor said softly. "This sector was quarantined for a reason." Sarah walked to the observation window, watching as more Council ships arrived at the periphery of the sector. They weren't just here to enforce regulations anymore. They were preparing for containment protocols. "Admiral," Sarah said, turning back to Santos' hologram, "request permission to proceed with rescue operations." "Captain," Maya interjected, "if we wake them, we risk exposing ourselves, exposing the entire galaxy to whatever infected them. The Lazarus were far more advanced than we are. If they couldn't cure it, then maybe they were looking at it wrong," Sarah replied. "Humanity's greatest strengths have never been about technological superiority. We survive because we adapt, because we refuse to give up on each other." Admiral Santos nodded slowly. "The Council's going to throw everything they have at us if we try this. They'll say we're risking the galaxy out of misplaced compassion. Maybe compassion is exactly what's been missing from this equation," Sarah said. "The Lazarus tried to fight this thing with technology alone. But humanity, we fight with heart." "Dr. Patel," Santos addressed Maya directly, "in your professional opinion, what are we dealing with here? A biological agent? A technological virus?" Maya studied the continuing stream of data from the sphere. "Neither, Admiral. Based on these readings, it's more like an idea. A concept so alien, so fundamentally wrong by our universe's standards, that it breaks minds that try to comprehend it. The Lazarus were trying to quarantine a thought. Sarah's eyes lit up. And that's why they call for help. Because you can't fight an idea with technology. You fight it with better ideas. Lieutenant Wong, begin broadcasting all of human history to the sphere. Everything. Our art, our music, our stories. Show them how we see the universe. Captain, David looked confused. If this thing infects through perception, then we'll give them new ways to perceive. The Lazarus were a singular civilization. They all thought alike. But humanity, we've got a million different ways of looking at the universe, and we're still finding more. The sphere's surface began to pulse with new patterns as it received the broadcast. Humanity's history, culture, and dreams washed over its ancient systems like a tidal wave of diversity. All ships, prepare for rescue operations, Sarah ordered. We're not just here to save bodies. We're here to save minds. And we're going to show the galaxy why humanity never leaves anyone behind. The rescue fleet moved into position around the sphere, their crews preparing for the most ambitious rescue mission in human history. They had 72 hours to save millions of lives and fight an enemy they couldn't see or touch, armed with nothing but human creativity and determination. Time was running out. The massive sphere pulsed with increasingly erratic patterns as the Prometheus and its sister ships maintained their positions. Inside the vessel's primary conference room, Captain Sarah Chen faced a collection of holograms, the best minds humanity could summon on short notice. The stasis pods are failing faster than expected, Dr. Maya Patel reported, her holographic form flickering with static. We have less than 40 hours now. The good news is the sphere's systems are responding to our transmissions. They're learning. Dr. James Rodriguez, Earth's leading expert on consciousness transfer, leaned forward in his projected chair. The data you've sent back is fascinating. The Lazarus didn't just build a prison. They built a collective mindscape. All of their consciousness are linked in there, sharing a single dream to keep the infection contained. Which means we can't wake them one at a time. Sarah concluded, it's all or nothing. The Council's latest ultimatum flashed across the room's displays. They had assembled a fleet of over 300 ships, all prepared to sterilize the entire sector at the first sign of containment breach. Humanity's rescue mission was now operating on borrowed time. I think I understand what they were attempting, Maya said, manipulating a complex holographic model of the sphere's internal systems. The Lazarus believed that by sharing a single, unified consciousness, they could prevent the alien concept from spreading. But they didn't account for mental stagnation. Sarah watched the model rotate, showing the intricate network of minds all dreaming the same dream. They made themselves too perfect, too uniform. No room for new ideas or growth. Exactly, James nodded enthusiastically. And that's why they're failing now. A mind needs chaos to stay healthy. Random thoughts, new perspectives, even bad ideas. They've been thinking the same thoughts for 50,000 years. Admiral Santos's hologram appeared, adding to the crowded room. The Council's getting nervous. Their sensors detected some kind of quantum fluctuation from the sphere. They're starting final countdown for sterilization. Sarah stood up, her mind racing. Maya, you said the sphere is learning from our transmissions. How much has it absorbed? Everything we've sent. Art, music, literature, scientific theories, even contradictory ones. It's hungry for new perspectives. James, Sarah turned to the consciousness expert. Could we use the sphere's systems to broadcast directly into their shared mindscape? Not just data, but actual human consciousness. James's eyes widened. You want to enter their dream. Captain, the mental strain would be enormous. Even with our most advanced neural interfaces, you'd be risking permanent psychological damage. Not me alone, Sarah said. Volunteers. 100 minds, 1,000. Each bringing their own unique way of seeing the universe. We'll show them what they've been missing. Diversity, chaos, growth. Admiral Santos frowned. You're talking about risking thousands of human minds to save aliens we know nothing about. The Council would call this madness. They already think we're mad. Sarah smiled. That's humanity's greatest strength. We're wonderfully, beautifully insane. We look at impossible situations and say, why not? We dive into burning buildings. We sail into hurricanes. We venture into the dark because someone might need our help. The room erupted in discussion as the idea took hold. Engineers began calculating power requirements. Medical teams prepared neural safeguards, and psychologists developed rapid deployment protocols for mass consciousness transfer. Even if this works, Maya cautioned, we're not just dealing with sleeping minds. The infection is still there, waiting. Whatever broke their civilization could break us too. Sarah's expression hardened with determination. The Lazarus tried to fight this thing with uniformity and isolation. We'll fight it with chaos and connection. Humanity thrives on impossible concepts. We dream them up for fun. We write stories about things that can't exist. We imagine worlds that defy logic, and we do it all without breaking. The call is going out now, Admiral Santos reported, asking for volunteers to risk their minds to save millions of lives. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Thousands of humans, artists, scientists, dreamers, and fighters, all volunteering to dive into an alien mindscape and battle an infection of thought with the raw power of human imagination. They're not just volunteering to save the Lazarus, David Okafor realized, watching the numbers climb. They're volunteering to save the galaxy from having to make an impossible choice. Sarah nodded. That's what humanity does best. We find third options, we rewrite the rules, and we never, ever leave anyone behind, even if we have to break into their dreams to save them. The sphere's surface began to shift more rapidly, its patterns aligning with the chaos of human thought. In less than 40 hours, they would either wake millions of minds from a 50,000-year nightmare, or they would join them in their endless dream. The galaxy watched in disbelief as humanity prepared to do the impossible, to fight an idea with imagination, to battle infection with inspiration, and to prove once again why they were the most dangerously compassionate species in known space. The medical bay of the ESS Prometheus had been transformed into a sea of neural interface pods. 3,000 volunteers lay connected to hastily modified stasis chambers, their minds preparing to venture into an alien dreamscape. Captain Sarah Chen stood among them, her own neural interface humming as final preparations were made. The Council fleet is moving into attack position. Lieutenant Wang's voice echoed through the ship-wide comm. They're charging weapons. Dr. Maya Patel's fingers flew across her console, making final adjustments to the consciousness transfer protocols. Captain, the sphere's internal systems are destabilizing. Whatever's in there, it knows we're coming. Good, Sarah replied, settling into her pod. Then let's give it something it's never seen before. She turned to face the volunteers in her section. Artists, scientists, soldiers, and dreamers from every corner of human space. Remember, we're not going in to fight. We're going in to create, to imagine, to show them new ways of seeing. Admiral Santos's voice crackled through the comm. Council ships are entering final attack positions. Whatever you're going to do it now. All volunteers, prepare for consciousness transfer, Maya announced, synchronizing with sphere systems in 3, 2, 1. The world dissolved into light. Sarah found herself floating in an endless void of geometric perfection. All around her, she could feel the presence of other human minds, each bringing their own unique perspective to this shared space. And beneath it all, she sensed them, millions of Lazarus minds, locked in a perfect, unchanging dream. The infection was visible here, a wrongness that twisted the fabric of thought itself. It was a concept so alien, so perfectly ordered that it broke any mind that tried to contain it. The Lazarus had tried to fight it with uniformity, making their thoughts so structured that nothing could corrupt them. Now, Sarah called out with her mind, show them everything. 3,000 human minds erupted into creativity. Artists painted impossible colors across the void. Musicians filled the silence with symphonies of chaos and beauty. Scientists projected theories that challenged the very nature of reality. Writers spun tales that danced between truth and fiction. The perfect geometry of the Lazarus dream began to crack. In the physical world, the Council fleet opened fire. Energy weapons powerful enough to shatter planets struck the sphere's surface, only to be absorbed by its ancient defenses. But inside the mindscape, the battle was just beginning. Sarah felt the infection turn its attention to the human minds, trying to break them with its alien logic. But where the Lazarus had tried to resist with order, humanity embraced chaos. Each attempted corruption was met with 1,000 different interpretations, each perfect pattern shattered by beautiful imperfection. Their minds are responding. Maya's voice echoed through the mindscape. The stasis pods are beginning to wake. The first Lazarus consciousness stirred, touching a human mind for the first time in 50,000 years. Sarah felt their shock, their fear, and then their wonder. Where they had hidden from the infection in perfect unity, humanity danced with it, transformed it, made it part of their own endless stories. More Lazarus minds began to wake, drawn by the riot of human creativity. They had forgotten what it meant to dream differently, to see the universe through new eyes. Now, surrounded by the chaos of human imagination, they remembered how to change. The sphere's defenses are failing. Wang's distant voice warned. Council weapons are beginning to penetrate. But in the mindscape, something remarkable was happening. The Lazarus were learning to dream again. Their perfect patterns began to shift and change, incorporating the beautiful chaos of human thought. The infection, that terrible concept of perfect order, began to dissolve, not destroyed, but transformed into something new. Look! Maya's consciousness pointed to the void above. The geometric perfection of the Lazarus dream was changing, becoming something neither human nor Lazarus, but a bridge between both. The infection that had nearly destroyed them became the foundation of something greater, a way of thinking that embraced both order and chaos. In the physical world, the sphere's surface erupted with new patterns, so complex and beautiful that the Council fleet stopped firing, their sensors overwhelmed by the display. The ancient structure was awakening, but not as a prison. It was becoming a beacon. Sarah felt the Lazarus consciousness merge with the human dreamers, sharing 50,000 years of knowledge and receiving in return the infinite creativity of human thought. They had come to save the Lazarus, but in doing so, they had helped them evolve into something new. The stasis systems are fully online, Maya reported. All life signs are stable and strengthening. They're waking up, Captain. All of them. The mindscape began to fade as human consciousness returned to their bodies. But the connection remained, a bridge built of dreams and imagination, linking two species across the gulf of time and thought. Sarah opened her eyes in her neural pod, a smile crossing her face as the medical bay erupted in cheers. Humanity had done more than save an ancient species. They had proven that the most powerful force in the universe wasn't technology or weapons or even perfect order. It was the ability to dream differently. 1 month after the rescue at the Lazarus Sphere, Captain Sarah Chen stood before the Galactic Council chamber on Earth, facing representatives from 1,000 species. The chamber's vast dome displayed a real-time hologram of the transformed sphere, now a shimmering beacon of light in what had once been called the Necropolis sector. "We gather today," High Counselor Vathor announced, their crystalline form refracting light in complex patterns, to address the unprecedented actions of humanity and their consequences for our galactic community. Sarah noticed how the council members watched the sphere's display with a mixture of fear and fascination. The patterns on its surface had never stopped changing, each shift representing millions of minds dreaming new dreams together. The human rescue fleet violated multiple council directives, Vathor continued. They risked releasing an infection that could have destroyed all sapient life. And in doing so, the High Counselor paused, their crystalline surface rippling with what Sarah had learned to recognize as amazement. They achieved what we thought impossible. Dr. Maya Patel stepped forward, accompanied by a holographic figure that shifted between geometric patterns and humanoid form, a Lazarus representative named First Dream of New Dawn. The chamber filled with murmurs as ancient and modern minds prepared to address the galaxy. "We did not just save the Lazarus," Maya explained, gesturing to the displays showing data from the sphere. "We learned from them, and they from us. The infection they feared wasn't a weapon or a virus. It was an idea so perfect it left no room for growth. In trying to fight it with uniformity, they nearly lost themselves." First Dream's form shifted, adopting a more humanoid appearance. "For 50,000 years, we dreamed the same dream, thinking sameness was safety. Humanity showed us that safety lies in diversity, in the courage to dream differently. They fought our nightmare not with weapons, but with stories." The chamber's displays filled with images from the rescue. Thousands of human volunteers lying in neural pods, their minds reaching across the gulf of time to share their dreams. Alongside them, readings showed the moment when rigid patterns of Lazarus thought began to incorporate the beautiful chaos of human creativity. Admiral Santos stepped forward, her uniform gleaming under the chamber's lights. "The Lazarus sphere is no longer a prison. It's becoming a center of learning, a place where species from across the galaxy can share not just knowledge, but ways of thinking." "And the infection?" Vathor asked, their tone carrying genuine curiosity rather than accusation. Sarah smiled. "See for yourself." She nodded to Maya, who activated a new display. The geometric patterns that had once threatened to break minds now flowed like art across the screen, transformed by the touch of human imagination. "We didn't destroy it," Sarah explained. "We learned to dance with it. The Lazarus tried to fight it with perfect order, but we showed them that the universe isn't about perfection. It's about adaptation, growth, and the courage to embrace new ideas." First Dream's form rippled with agreement. "My people spent millennia hiding from chaos, thinking it would destroy us. Humanity taught us that chaos is the source of all creation. Now we dream new dreams together." The council chamber erupted in discussion as representatives from across the galaxy debated the implications. But Sarah noticed something remarkable. The fear was gone. In its place was curiosity, wonder, and a growing understanding of why humanity had become the galaxy's rescuers. "The Galactic Council recognizes," Vathor announced, their voice cutting through the chaos, "that humanity's methods, while unconventional, have opened new paths for all species. The Lazarus sphere will be redesignated as a protected site of cultural exchange, under joint human and Lazarus protection." As the chamber filled with approving sounds from 1,000 different species, Sarah watched the sphere's display continue its endless dance of patterns. Humanity had gone into the darkness to save an ancient species, but they had done more than that. They had shown the galaxy that the greatest adventures weren't about conquering the unknown, but about learning to dream with it. Captain Chen, First Dream, addressed her privately as the council session concluded, their form shifting between patterns that now incorporated sweeping curves inspired by human art. "My people spent 50,000 years trying to protect the galaxy from an idea. We never considered that the galaxy needed the idea, and the idea needed the galaxy." Sarah nodded, understanding. The rescue mission had proved what humanity had always believed, that the universe wasn't a place of barriers to be defended, but of bridges to be built. Even the darkest corners of space could be lit by the simple courage to reach out, to dream, and to believe that no one was ever truly beyond saving. The Lazarus sphere continued its dance among the stars, no longer a tomb of lost dreams, but a beacon of new ones. And in ships across the galaxy, crews told the story of how humanity's greatest weapons had turned out to be their stories, their songs, and their undying belief that in the darkest night, hope was worth any risk. For in the end, they had proved that the deadliest force in the universe wasn't order or chaos, technology or nature, but the simple, stubborn compassion that made humans run toward danger when everyone else ran away.